Welcome to the Forest Harvest CBNE Forum 2021. Thank you for joining us this week as we foster information exchange, capacity enhancement, market engagement, and political action in support of the community-based NTFP enterprises. Our moderator for this session is Ms. Mix Gia Padilla. She is the chair of NTFP-EP Asia. For more than 3 decades, she has been advocating for Indigenous people's rights, gender and development, women's health, and cultural sensitivity through social research, capacity building, and policy advocacy. Please give a warm round of applause for Ms. Padilla.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our roundtable discussion on Indigenous peoples and local communities, women entrepreneurs in CBNE, or community-based non-timber forest products enterprises. Quite a mouthful, isn't it? Before we start, I would like to ask each interpreter to invite their listeners to their respective channel. Participants, if you need a translation, please click Interpretation button at the bottom of your screen and choose your language. Translations will be to Tagalog, Bahasa Indonesia, Khmer, Vietnamese, Thai, Nepali, Bisaya, and English. For Bisaya, please click Japanese, and for Nepali, please click Chinese. You may mute or unmute the original speaker if you find this distracting. Please also note that we will be recording this session. In this session, we want to put IPLC women entrepreneurs in the spotlight and to raise awareness on their traditional knowledge, leadership styles, the value of their CBNE for them, the support they need, and their measures of success. We will go beyond speaking with only the women's groups. We will also bring in men into the conversation to extend the discussion on gender and other issues. We hope that this session will also provide a venue for IPLC women entrepreneurs to connect with one another. We hope that IPLC women entrepreneurs will explore the possibility of forming a network for mutual support and to push their agenda collectively. So that's a lot of what we want to get to do in an hour and a half. So now we come to our speakers who come from 4 countries in Asia: the Philippines, Vietnam, Nepal, and Indonesia. Let us first get to know our speakers through their own words. Each speaker will introduce herself or himself. We will give them 3 minutes each. And I will apologize in advance if you are going beyond the 3 minutes. I will politely interrupt you. So I apologize in advance if that has to be done. We start with the women. I invite each speaker to introduce herself by answering these questions. What is your name and what does your enterprise do? Why did you start the community enterprise, and what is the importance of the enterprise to you? So now let's get going with the introductions. Please start, Ms. Emily Lansson from the Philippines.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Emily Lansson from the Philippines. I am the manager of HAMCO. HAMCO was organized by Uswag Development Foundation on December 27, 1989, with the purpose of providing livelihood to the community through using the indigenous natural fibers available in the province, and thus keeping the centuries-old industry of handloom weaving, which is part of the tradition, history, and culture of Aklan, the piña and abaca weaving. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Emily. So I also noticed that you make a point of making use of connecting your local history with your enterprise. So now, may I ask, please introduce yourself, Ms. Ma Tin from Vietnam. Please go ahead, Ms. Ma, and maybe unmute yourself. Thank you.
Vâng. Chào tất cả mọi người nhé. Tôi tên là Ma Thị Ninh. Năm nay tôi 37 tuổi. Tôi là một người phụ nữ.
Now I'm 37 years old and I'm Thai ethnic minority people. I'm the director of the Cooperative of Agriculture and Forestry in Dung. And our products are mainly the clean product and organic product. For example, sticky rice, squash, or some handicraft product from the bamboo.
Saya berasal dari
And we also have
koperasi yang ada
a lot
di
of products
Vietnam
to find a job for many female in the community. And we also try to utilize the local product.
Thank you, Ms. Ma from Vietnam. And I noticed you made a point of mentioning that you will use local products and that you ensure that they are grown in an organic way. And now let's go outside of Southeast Asia to Nepal. May I now call on you, Ms. Avisha Tuladar. Please unmute yourself, Ms. Avisha.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Avisha Tuladar, and I represent MEFBA, Mount Everest Forest Botanical Alliance. We are a grassroots CBNE with dealing with NTFP products, especially on medicinal and aromatic plants. We are a women mass-based organization which works in synergizing the market linkage with the livelihoods of the indigenous or marginalized people, while also working towards the environmental conservation. So far, we are consolidating our organization in the pockets of indigenous people in the mountain villages of Nepal. And it is very encouraging for us to see like women coming forward by themselves and wanting to join our alliance. So we, for the second question, MEFBA is as I've already said, MEFBA is a grassroots social enterprise, and we believe in being the part of the solution to this complex challenge of resource-crunched mountain communities' livelihood and the ongoing environmental degradation. So the most important aspect of our organization is the mission of sustainable deployment of resources, for the livelihood intervention. And so we work with the women group of one of the most underprivileged communities in Nepal. So the climate, people, culture, entrepreneurship, the market linkage, and the networking. So these, these have opened up an array of possibilities for the community and for ourselves. And tapping into these possibilities and making use of them in order to uplift or empower the people or empower the communities who are at the lower end of the social strata. That is what enterprise means to us. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Avisha. I am glad to take note that you put an emphasis on CBNEs as a way for marginalized voices to be able to be pushed through. And now we come to the men. I also invite you to introduce yourselves by answering these questions. What is your name and how are you related to women engaged in business? How do you see the role of women in an enterprise? Let's start with Mr. Truong Van Tien from Vietnam.
Vâng, xin Vâng, xin chào ạ.
Hello, everyone. Hello, on the audience. My name is Phạm Văn Tiến. I'm the Deputy Director of the Cooperative of the Cinnamon and Anise in Yên Bái Province, Vietnam. Currently, we have 812 people, and totally we have around 874 hectares of the forest, and mostly we plant the cinnamon. And we also thank you very much for the support of FFF in our area since 2005. And in that time, the farmers cultivated individually, and we are lacking information about technique market. But since we received the support from the FFF, we are able to establish one cooperative, and also we link to be the process and export cooperative. Now we have 23 board members of the cooperative and the involvement of 800 members in the community. And among 23 membership, we have 6 female and the other 17 are male.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fan. It would be interesting to know how the women are adapting to new technologies, if it is they have the same experiences as the man, or are there differences in how they try to adapt and look for new techniques and new technologies in marketing, in producing your NTFPs. And finally, we have Pak Kobus from Indonesia.
Iya, saya akan memperkenalkan diri saya.
Okay, I would like to introduce myself. I am Kobus. I am 41 years old. My wife is Wagia and I have 2 children. And I am as a husband in a cooperative of Madonde. I am as a husband always assist activities at the cooperative, and also when we are looking for the raw rattan, as you can see that the picture of the rattan products that will be good to market, but it will also our challenge. First, lack of fair trade, but we also grateful the group also help us to market our product. So it really helps us. And we hope that it will not stop until today, but I would happy to have a support to anyone, especially to the organization, the support, the activity, and the market until our target are vision achieved, because our cooperative Madonde is really helpful and have a good impact to the livelihood, to the economics, and also to the cooperative until now. And as you can see the picture, there are 20 members. They are the women as a potential to help and to do the activity of producing rotan. And if any one of you is interested to join with us, it really helped me a lot to the cooperative also. And the products and the rotan is always ready at the forest. Thank you very much.
Thank you also. There was something in the Pakya Kobus also prepared a short video for us. Let's watch it.
Perkenalkan nama saya Kobus Paku, umur 41 tahun.
Hello, I am 41 years old. I live in
Kecamatan Lore
Truong.
Barat, Kabupaten Poso, Provinsi Sulawesi Tengah. Istri saya umur 38 tahun. Dan menyangkut kegiatan daripada kelompok pengrajin Madonde sangat-sangat membawa hal yang begitu baik dalam ekonomi sebagai kelompok perempuan Madonde, dan sampai saat ini tetap berjalan dengan baik dan sangat membawa harapan pasti bahwa hal ini akan terus berlanjut untuk menunjang ekonomi yang ada di Desa Tunghipi. Dengan hal ini, maka dari kami sebagai kelompok tani perempuan terus mengharapkan kerjasama agar hal ini dapat berjalan, terus mendapat upaya dan bantuan dari pihak manapun untuk senantiasa mendukung kami dalam kegiatan tersebut.
Thank you very much, Pak Kobus. Pak Kobus mentioned something that I think we already hear, and that is that women through the participation in CBNEs contribute to household economy. But I would also, I think, be very interested in the question of how do women's participation in CBNE and status within the household itself. Maybe we can hear some more about that later from our various speakers. So thank you again, dear speakers, for your introductions. Now let's go deeper into this roundtable discussion on Indigenous peoples and local community women entrepreneurs in CBNE. I'd like to start by asking the women, up to this point for you, what had been the biggest challenge in getting women to participate in CBNEs? We start maybe with Emily. Please unmute yourself, Emily.
Okay. For me, it's hard to engage in business because you're a woman. Akala kasi nila na porket babae ka, ay hindi mo makakaya. Pero pinakita ko rin sa kanila na kaya rin ng mga babae na makisabay sa mga lalaki pagdating sa pagninegosyo. Ang kailangan lang ay meron kang sariling paninindigan at commitment sa lahat ng bagay. That's all.
A very good message that there is some general belief that businessmen. How about the experience of Miss Ma from Vietnam? What is for you the biggest challenge so far that you have faced in terms of involving women in CBNEs?
Vâng ạ. Trong quá trình tham gia hoạt động.
So during my participation in the cooperative, I found that the biggest challenges of the peoples in the mountainous area, especially ethnic minority female. So as I am also the ethnic minority women, so I have to bring my children to join in any kinds of the training. And also I felt that the accessibilities of the female to any programs, any trainings of the organization. So it's made the knowledge and also how to utilize the technologies and how to do the business like the female in the lowland areas.
Chính vì thế là
It's
những
hard
cái rào
for
cản
us.
về cái nhận thức học tập,
Majority
cũng như tiếp
people
cận rất là
do
khó khăn
just one time for
về
us
ngôn
is
ngữ,
more difficult,
cả về ngôn ngữ và
10
về
times more difficult.
Vâng ạ.
Thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you very much.
So we see that the particular challenges faced by women in enterprises is not only the issue of believing in her capacities, but also in trying to forward with what she likes to do in terms of her empowerment. And also, Ms. Ma mentioned also something that was also very particular to women's situation, in that they had to consider as well their domestic chores when they go about their CBNEs, like she had to bring her children
pagpapatakbo ng kanilang negosyo,
and do the work.
hindi lang ang CBNE ang
How about your
pinatutuunan nila
experience,
ng
Ms.
pansin.
Avisha?
Ngunit ang kanilang domestic na gawain sa
in Nepal,
bahay.
so in beekeeping,
Ngayon
especially in beekeeping,
Nepal,
what we saw was like
ng Avisha na nagsasalita.
Even after training these women on modern beekeeping techniques, they did not have the confidence to transfer
sa aming karanasan,
or use the modern technology, and they continued with their traditional beekeeping practice. So later on, but then we later on what we did was we provided them with village-based trainings and capacity building trainings to the trainings and follow-up support, due to which they were able to transfer their technology and to the modern one as we had trained them. So lack of confidence to adapt the new technology.
Thank you for that. So we see a running trend in the answers in terms of capacities, in terms of women's, not just capacities in terms of what they still don't know and what they still would like to be able to do, capacities also in terms of lack of confidence in their ability, but maybe sometimes also the women feeling that they certainly lack abilities, and also that the people, the women have harder access to new technologies, new information, and harder time in accessing markets. No, I don't like to talk always about just what is negative. So maybe in line of your work, there were also positives. So think about that. But meanwhile, of course, I would like to ask the men as well. I have not forgotten you, the men in our panel. So I would like to ask the men, what have you observed to be women's greatest engaging in CBNEs? in your own observation and experience. May we start with Mr. Fan.
Dạ. Vâng, đối với chúng tôi thì báo cáo quý vị thì chúng tôi cũng đối với phụ nữ thì đóng một cái vai trò quan trọng trong cái vấn đề sản xuất cũng như là kinh doanh đối với tôi như đối với chỗ chúng tôi thì là cái tỷ lệ của phụ nữ tham gia vào cái hoạt động kinh doanh là chiếm trên 70%. Những người trực tiếp để sản xuất cái quế hữu cơ cũng như trồng, chăm sóc và thu hoạch cũng như là vận chuyển, đồng thời cũng như là chế biến và vận hành cái máy móc. Đồng thời ngoài ra thì phụ nữ chúng tôi còn tham gia vào các cái vị trí quản lý trong cái hợp tác xã như là tổ trưởng hoặc là trưởng ca sản xuất hoặc là những công việc cần đến tính toán. Xin cảm ơn.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So from what I hear, as far as his experience is concerned, there is already the women being recognized in the variety of roles that they do in the enterprise. Like he said, 70%, if I remember correctly what Mr. Fan said, and that they can undertake leadership roles. Maybe I will delve more into that later on, Mr. Fan. Meanwhile, Mr. Kobus, for you, in your observation, what has been the greatest challenge of your wife in engaging in women's enterprise when she started out in the women's enterprise? Mr. Kobus is smiling. What is the greatest challenge that you have observed your wife that she faced when she started entering CBNEs?
Ya, terima kasih. Memang salah satu tantangan.
Yes, thank you. One of the challenge
selama 3 tahun ini tantangannya yaitu akses
during 3 years
dalam
of my work is
pemasaran tersebut. Karena terus
marketing
terang,
our products.
Secara khusus di daerah kami itu ya
In fact,
kurangnya alat komunikasi.
Area, it's lack of
yang tidak
communication
memadai,
with each
sehingga
other because we do not have a good communication
ini
to
kan
each
bersyukur
other.
mereka dapat membantu kami dalam hal ini pemasaran.
Okay, so it was communication within the household is key. Am I getting it correctly that it is good to have good communication in the household when the woman is starting to get interested in CBNE?
So
I'm sorry, can the translator repeat? We'll get back later to Pa Kobus. But meanwhile, I asked also the women to think about if there are challenges, there are also, I'm very sure of this. Did you see that there are specific opportunities for women in relation to engaging in CBNEs? Maybe now I start with Miss Avisha.
Sorry, opportunities of having women in the
opportunities that that women can have by joining in CBNEs.
What I saw was like collaborating with the women, or like collaborating or even providing them with a small help brings this gives them spirit to fight back the social prejudices that have been there, about women. For instance, you know, it helps them to break the social barriers of perception, and and you know, come forward and participate in, be it in social or economic, or political spheres of life.
Thank you. How about from the experience of Miss Ma? What opportunities are women able to get, in your experience and observation, by joining CBNEs?
So for me, before women join in the activities of the cooperative, mostly they only do the housework, and they also don't have any voice in the family. So in case they have any opinions or creation, it will not be accepted by the family and also by the community. And in addition, if the female join in any activity, they will not have chance to meet somebody from outside to support for the community. And for me, when they join in the cooperative, they have opportunity to develop themselves and also to promote their ownership in the agriculture development, and also their voice in the family is increasing, and husband pay more attention and the trustee to the wife. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So in your sharing, you are emphasizing that it's not just about the economy, even within the household, but the woman herself. She sees it as an opportunity to to directly experience her world beyond the domestic sphere, and that there are opportunities for her to develop herself beyond being just taking care of the house, or what we call the reproductive roles of women. Thank you for that. And how about your experience, Miss Emily?
Ang masasabi ko lang sa kapwa ko, mga babae, ay huwag tayong matakot na ipakita sa lahat na tayong mga babae ay hindi mahihina. Sorry. Tayo ay may kakayahang mag-manage at maging isang leader upang mamuno sa isang grupo o organisasyon. Kayang maging boses ng kapwa kababaihan, ipahayag ang mga pangangailangan upang kumita para sa pamilya. Kayang manindigan sa sariling paa dahil may sariling kakayahan din tayo. Kung sa tingin natin na tama tayo, ay dapat ipaglaban natin ang ating karapatan. Huwag natin limitahang matuto para mas mapabuti ang pag-manage, hindi lang sa negosyo kundi pati sa pamumuhay at pagtulong sa kapwa. Dapat nating isipin na lahat tayo ay patay-pantay at kaya din natin. Importante ito para magkaroon din tayo ng boses sa ating lipunan. Tayong mga babae ay hindi lang para sa bahay, para mag-alaga ng ating asawa at mga anak. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Emily. So for her, she emphasized that joining in a CBNE was an opportunity for women to show their leadership skills. And I also take note that she has mentioned things that have run through what the two other women have said about getting back against or fighting social prejudice, about developing one's capacities, about adding a voice, especially to the woman's voice, or at making the woman's voice within the household stronger. And now, how would you and now we go to Mr. Pham. How would you describe, is there in the leadership of women, is there a difference between leadership style of women, the leadership style of men in the CBNE enterprises that you have observed or experienced?
So for me, I think that for the production and also the difficulties of the females in doing the NTFP's product is very suitable. Actually, female didn't need to do much and utilize the labor. And I think to join in the CBNE, it is very suitable work for the females. And men will play a role as the supporter for the female in transportation the goods. And also men can encourage more for the female so they can develop themselves and also develop their own business. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So he has spoken about there seems to be working complementation of roles in the enterprises that Mr. Pham has observed or is a part of. How about for Kobus? Do you think that how do you describe the leadership skill of your wife, the leadership style of your wife in her women's enterprise?
In terms of my wife's style leadership, she is part of the Madonde. It's so lucky in the financial sector when the Ratan Madonde working well, then it's contribute well to the our household livelihood.
Thank you, Fa. So you appreciate her participation because for one big reason also that you recognize how it has greatly contributed to your household economy. Let's hear from the women. Talk about yourself. How would you describe your leadership enterprise with regard to the women's CBNE enterprise that you are involved with? Let's start this time with Miss Ma. How do you describe your own leadership style in the CBNE?
Xin mời chị Mã Thị Ninh. So for myself, I'm the ethnic minority female, and I'm also a mother and a wife, child in the house. So when I become the leaders in the cooperative, and mostly 80% of the members in my cooperative is the female. So I don't apply the strict regulation for everybody. I always try to work together with everyone to always decide with the members. And if we have any things, any challenges, I will be the pioneer, and also I will share the information to everyone so that all female members in my cooperative will have more trusty to me, and they also try more to contribute. And I try to be one of the role models for the own females in the cooperative. Thank you.
Thank you. How about for you, Miss Avisha? How would you describe your leadership style in relation to CBNEs?
I believe is me personally being accessible to all the group members brings this sense of acceptance to them, and by accepting those women, and also those women accepting me, brings this instant communication channel opens up between two parties, and leading by setting an example is the best policy that works for me.
Thank you. And for you, Miss Emily, how would you describe your leadership style in your enterprise?
Para sa akin po, ang ginagamit kong leadership style ay situational leadership. Kasi hindi po pare-pareho ang sitwasyon. So, ang ginagamit kong leadership ay, halimbawa, ginagamitan ko rin sila ng democratic or dictatorship. So, it depends upon po sa situation na nag-occur sa co-op namin kung ano ang dapat na gamitin kong leadership sa mga members. Thank you po.
Okay, so there is an emphasis on ensuring that there is a certain trust developed, that there is always a sharing of knowledge, and that there is always ensuring that you are assisting other women in being able to put forth their voice and their capacities. That seems to be the running thread among the three women. So maybe this is the last question I would like to ask in relation to our main discussion part is that what else do you want to see as a next step for women in your CBNE? So maybe we start now with Mr. Pham. What else do you want to see? What else do you hope for the women in your CBNEs? Mr. Pham, what else would you hope for women in your CBNE?
Thank you. So for me, I hope the female in my cooperative will participate more in the production and also to do the business with outsider. And also women in the cooperative not only focus on activity in the cooperative, but share hands with the men.
Thank you. How about for you, Pa Kobus? What else do you hope for your wife in her participation in the CBNE?
My hope as a husband, we want to be joined together. It is quite limited, but I really want that we can export this. And I'm as a husband, I'm gonna be support this potency, especially the women in this group, those 20 women.
Thank you very much. Yes, very quick. The male support for women in CBN is also very important. Now, how about let's listen to the women's voices. For you, Miss Emily, what else do you hope for by aging in women's and in the CBNE? Please unmute yourself, Miss Emily.
Ang masasabi ko lang po ay ang ginawang pagbabago ng community-based NTFP enterprise sa aming mga kababaihan. Natutulungan niyo po kaming maipakita ang aming mga sariling kakayahan dahil nandyan kayo para suportahan. Pantay-pantay lang ang tingin nyo sa amin, kaya nawawala ang pagkaalinlangan namin sa inyo. Binibigyan nyo kami ng inspirasyon at mga harap para sa mga sarili namin dahil alam naming matutupad namin yon dahil nandyan kayo para tulungan kami. Natututo kami magtrabaho at kumita para makatulong sa pamumuhay ng mga pamilya namin. Nalaman din namin na ang mga babae pala hindi lang para sa bahay, kundi para rin tumulong sa aming komunidad at bansa. Nagkakaroon kami ng tibay ng loob at tiwala sa sarili para iparating ang aming saloobin sa anumang bagay na sa tingin namin ay tama. Yan. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. So Miss Emily had said that she's very happy about the opportunity of having work because in this enterprise, because she has grown not only in terms of having more income, but also in engaging and developing herself, and that she hopes will continue, and more participation from the rest as well. Did I get that right, Miss Emily? I understand that the translation, the Philippine translation to English is not working at the moment. Tama po ba? Nakuha ko po ba lahat? Salamat po. And now, what else do you hope for in your engagement with women's in your CBNE?
Sorry, is it me?
No, Miss Ma.
Oh.
So for myself, I hope the female in my cooperative I hope they can maintain the roles of the female in the family and in the community as the Vietnamese lady. And I hope the female can cooperate more to develop our community, and also our female can export our product to another countries. And also I hope the female become richer in their own homeland, and also they can promote their ownership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now may we hear from you, Miss Avisha. What else do you hope for the women in the enterprises engaging?
Well, I want women to be more participative, positive, and make the most out of the opportunity provided to them, break all the barriers of perception that is there against women hailing from indigenous communities of Nepal, and work more, or at least hand in hand with the men, folks of the country.
Thank you very much. What we see that they are sharing in terms of the hopes, both the women and the men, is that they hope the enterprise will grow not only locally, but can go beyond and maybe even globally. And also we see that especially the women came out strong, that they see the engagement in enterprise, not only that they don't, not just for the development of the family, but also the development of the community. They value very much that there will be more women participating and participating in the enterprises, working together, and not forgetting also that they are doing this also. They would want to do this also in partnership with the men. Many other important points that maybe can get back to and summarize later on. That's all we have for the main part of our discussion. But now I would like to invite participants to give, if you have any questions, if you would like to either type it in your chat box or raise your hand to speak and give your question. It can be for all the speakers, or you can ask one speaker in particular. So it is now the open forum of our roundtable discussion. Please go ahead if you have any questions or comments about what has been discussed so far. Or maybe some women, especially women entrepreneurs among our audience, among our participants, have also specific stories to tell about your own experiences engaging in a CBNE. So either type in the chat box or raise your hand. So far, we are not seeing a question, so I actually have a question myself. Oh, now here we have a question from Amit Chit of WWF Myanmar. For all the speakers, how do you keep women involved in your CBNE? How do you make sure that they continue to be involved in the CBNE? Maybe let's start in the order of your introduction, Miss Emily. Please unmute yourself. How do you keep women involved in your enterprise?
Dito sa co-op namin, sinisigurado namin na ang mga babae ay hindi pinababayaan. Lahat ng mga tulong na kinakailangan nila ay binibigay namin sa lalo na sa trabaho, binibigyan sila ng trabaho para may maitulong sila sa pamilya nila sa lahat ng oras. Salamat po.
Yes, so she said that she's making sure that the CBNE is able to respond to the women's needs in particular. So that is how they are able to keep the women involved in the enterprise. Salamat po. How about Miss Ma? How do you keep the women continue to be involved in the enterprise?
So until now, our cooperative already established for 4 years, and for the females, many females have the needs to join in the cooperative. And when they participated in the cooperative, if they have any concern, not only relating to the business, but also relating to the life and also culture and how to support for the elderly peoples in the community, especially information about the COVID pandemic now, I'm always open to share the information for all female in my cooperative, so that they will believe that the cooperative is one family, and people will get lots of the mutual support when being the members of the cooperative, and they also bring more happiness for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Avisha?
Is it me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, like she said, by empathizing with the women of the community women, by putting yourself into their shoes, being a good listener, trying to help help in a positive way, and inspiring them. And by while we design our projects, we tell them that we're all one, like we're analogous, which helps them to feel connected. So this also makes it very easier for us to work with them, with the community, especially with the women.
Thank you. How about in your case, Mr. Phan from Vietnam? How do you keep the women involved in your CBNEs?
Yes, so for our cooperative, we always try to listen the needs and also the voice of the female in our cooperative. We would like to know more about their expectation about doing in the cooperative. And if it is under our capacity, we try best to respond to their needs. And also when we assign the work for the female, we try to encourage them step by step until they complete it. And also we have some of the award for them if they can complete successfully. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, Kobus, how do you encourage your wife to continue to be involved in the CBNE?
Silakan. Thank you. Until now, I always encourage them, then I always ready to assist. I hope it works well. And we all can enjoy the result and support the economy in a group or also in family. We also how to harvest rotan. We also always try to harvest rotan so we can support make the product.
Thank you. And that brings us to the next question that may be related to what Pak Kobus shared.
Ini pertanyaan selanjutnya yang terkait dengan Pak Kobus. Ada pertanyaan dari Anna Bolin dari IIED.
Have you noticed any changes to the way that women and men share their roles in the household and work now that the women spend a lot more time in the enterprise? Do the men take on some of the tasks of women in the household, in the home, and in the community? So meaning, now that the woman is now more involved, spending more, is there did something change in the way that men also work in the household and in the community? Yes, go ahead, Pak Kobus, you were going to say something.
The men never complain. The men keep encourage and support women. So the woman happy with that because the whole of things really support the family. So I always do whatever that have to do in the household.
Thank you. So Pak Kobus is already doing more housework than before when your wife has started to work in CBNE. So now Mr. Pham from Vietnam, you raised your hand.
So for me, I try to share hands and support my wife in the housework when she's busy. And I found that when we do housework together, we are happier, For example, we cook together or do some small housework. And also in the business, if some ladies have some personal matter, I will try to encourage and take over the roles of others to support for the female in my cooperative when they have some private matter. Thank you.
Thank you. We certainly need more men like Kobus and Mr. Pham who willingly take on more housework so that the women can have more roles in the CBNEs. Thank you for that. And how about let's listen to what the women have experienced, also from Vietnam. Miss Ma, have you noticed among the women or your own personal experience if there has been a change in the household dynamics or a change in the sharing of the housework because women, or not just maybe in the housework, but also in community roles, now that women are more involved in community enterprise?
So when I joined in the cooperative, I could observe a very big changes. At first, for the female, we found that as the leaders is very important. So if I can do something different, another females in my cooperative also try to follow myself and apply in their daily life. But for my personal, I found that the role of my husband is very important because when I become the leaders of the cooperative, I need to take a lot of time to do for the cooperative. For example, research the market or joining the meeting. My husband is belong to the military. So when I join in the cooperative, he's always willing to do 100% of the housework for me, so I can have full time to do the cooperative work. Like he take care of the children, cooking, etc. And especially in the weekend, he joined with me in some activities of the cooperative as well. And I think that my families also become the role models family in the ethnic minority community, and many females learn from that and apply. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Avisha, how about your own experience and observation?
With ours, because it's to do with beekeeping. So beekeeping is done like, the women do not have to travel to a distance and carry out their CBNE work. So it is, at the backyard of their house, they have these place where they do beekeeping. So since it is, it's done nearby their house, the husbands are, I see the husbands also helping them with the beekeeping and checking how the bee, if the checking on the nectar, if the honey, like checking on things with the beekeeping.
Thank you. How about you, Miss Emily? What have you noticed as changes in the household and in the community in terms of women's and men's roles when women started entering CBNEs?
Actually, sa akin naman pong experience, maganda naman ang experience kasi we have good relationship with my husband regarding sa work ko. Especially po, halimbawa, pupunta ako ng outside the province to attend seminar. So, wala akong problema dahil siya in charge sa bahay. Siya ang mag-alaga ng mga bata, magawa ng ginagawa ko. Kung may trabaho siya noon, ay ginagawa niya. So, maganda talaga na may partnership both man and woman pagdating sa work kasi may respeto sa kada bawat isa. So yun ang importante na may pagkakaunawaan ng bawat isa para maging maganda at mahusay ang pamumuhay ng bawat isa sa pamilya. Thank you po.
So Miss Emily has considered herself very fortunate that she has a partner who has not hesitated in helping out in the household because of her engagement in the CBNE, and like Miss Ma also, and also Mr. Pham, they have shared that they do household chores together, so that lightens the load for both of them. And also, she emphasized, and also emphasized by other speakers, that communication was very important. Communication between the spouses is very important for a good life within the household. Yes, there is still another question from our chat box. In your opinion, in your observation and experience, is there something special that women bring into the CBNE? Like, what would be missing in the CBNE, apart from more workers, of course? What would be missing in the CBNE if there were no women in the CBNE? So what do the women bring in as women, or what is there something special that they bring into the CBNE? So let us now start with Miss Ma from Vietnam. Maybe I put it another way. What special capacities or knowledge do women bring into a CBNE? What has already been mentioned so far from various speakers earlier is that they have a specific knowledge about certain work, Is there, and then I think Miss Emily also mentioned about the knowledge of local history. Is there anything else that women bring in specifically to the CBNE?
So for me, when I join in the cooperative as the leaders, I try to learn by myself at first about the new knowledge and also new skills, so that I can transfer to the females in my cooperative, and I will make priorities of the knowledge and skill for some of the key women members in my cooperative. And then those key persons will spread the information to another female members in the cooperative.
Thank you.
And,
may I?
Yeah. Cảm ơn chị.
Yeah. Sorry. In particular, can you give a specific example of what kind of knowledge women can bring into the CBNE that normally men cannot bring into the CBNE? Maybe if not knowledge, a skill or a way of working that it's more women doing it that way than men, that is beneficial to the CBNE.
So maybe I'm not too sure if this answers the question, but you know, we deal with one of the very you know, backward, or not to use the word backward. Maybe we. So the community we are working with, they are the Chepangs. They are called the Chepangs, and they are, you know, they they do not they do not come under the 103 the mainstream the mainstream caste of Nepal, mainstream caste system. So, and you know, the child marriage is very rampant, is widely practiced in this community. So, and you know, by the age of 25, they are they have like handful of kids and suffering from malnutrition, in most of the cases leading to tuberculosis also. So, you know, having women in these enterprise, they come forward, they discuss their issues. You know, they are economically not dependent anymore on their husband. So, you know, so the money, the, you know, the economic independence has given them this opportunity to, you know, opportunity to eat better, like, you know more about malnutrition, and you know, feed their children. So you know, so the malnutrition, so they have been and the infant mortality rate was also high before. So, you know, when they come forward and discuss about these issues, so, you know, it brings a decrease in the amount of you know, it improves the what do you call it, the social and health, it improves the health of the family members.
Did I get it correctly that one big contribution of women's participation is that the enterprise becomes more sensitive to social issues in the community? So not just a matter of economy or technology. Thank you. Mr. Pham, you have been raising your hand. What would you like to share with regard to this topic? What specific capacity or knowledge do women participate?
So under my observation, the females in my areas have a lot of knowledge. Most of them are very have deep knowledge about the calculation, and also they can break down a lot many levels of the calculation in deciding the price or something. They are much better than the male in calculation. And also I felt that the females in my areas are very skillful. They can make a lot of sophisticated and beautiful products compared with the men.
Or creativity, maybe.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry. I think Mrs. Meg's connection is really bad. So we are waiting for a substitute to Mrs. Meg.
Okay, hi everyone. All right, so thank you so much for that very rich and interesting discussion. My name is Anna Bolen and I am a senior researcher at IIED and a partner in the Forest and Farm Facility. So my task has been to just give a brief summary of what we have discussed here today. So I will go ahead and do my best at that, and as well try to summarize some of the key points you have made so well today. So we started off our roundtable today with discussing some of the key challenges that women face in their entrepreneurship. And as I think we know, it's quite a big task for women to, on the one hand, juggle the family life and being a leader of a cooperative. It's two big jobs, actually. So that's something that we did emphasize quite well, a number of us. Then we also face other challenges, such as how do you then combine these two roles? You bring your children to work. What else can you do? And another key challenge being that women perhaps need a bit more time also to work up that confidence, to take a voice, to take a leadership in business and in the community. So in order to, of course, overcome some of these challenges, the enterprise has been a driving force for also creating positive change. So we notice how being a part of a cooperative or an enterprise gives this important strength and confidence, a sense of being able to break social and economic barriers that they face in their daily lives, but also giving a voice, not just externally in the community and in the market, but also within the household, to have a positive change there. And that also brings a lot of positive changes. So a lot more attention and trust and happiness amongst men and women in the house, in the family. And so we talked about how, obviously from Nepal, we heard much bigger social changes at a social and economic level, breaking down child mortality, nutrition challenges, as well as poverty because of entrepreneurship. That's a big change. We talked about leadership and how often these enterprises have been a route for women to take leadership. Many may have leadership within them, but it takes quite a bit to get that out. The enterprise could be a key avenue, an opportunity for doing that. And leadership style. I think we often talk about how women and men have different leadership styles, but what does that actually mean? We talked about trust, listening to needs, but also being flexible, knowing that family and work life requires flexibility. And as a leader, leading by example and being a role model, showing that motivation and inspiring others, being also a key part of that flexible and listening leadership style. Information sharing being a key part of that as well. In terms of next steps, we want to see continued self-growth that has already started with the enterprise, to allow that to continue. And basically, how can these leadership skills and experience that have been cultivated within a cooperative be used outside of the cooperative in the wider community to help bring change and positive changes, not just in community, at a country level, we heard from Nepal. So there is ambition to bring women into more decision-making and positive change, not just within the enterprise, which we already see as being a very positive driver for change. And then how can you encourage others or women who are already part of a cooperative to stay? And again, motivation, encouragement being such a key factor in this continuous engagement and being close and a network that work together and drive forwards. And finally, looking at what women bring to entrepreneurship in these cooperatives, we had a strong feeling of the creativity and the strength and motivation that women bring to these enterprises because of also how much change and positive changes brought to them. I was happy to hear that we do see changes within the household roles and divisions of work. For me, I've heard many accounts of women just working harder. And so it's nice to see that we do also see that women and men are moving closer to each other in sharing the work at home and also outside of home. So with that, I will like to hand over to any other remarks that might want to be made by Sophie Growels or Mix. And thank you so much for such an interesting discussion today.
Thank you very much. I think Anna has already synthesized very well this what we could hear. It was really interesting to hear how this conversation evolved, and with the time, I mean, Mix, you really did a great job to take out these different aspects of women participation and leadership in the CBNEs and the enterprises, and really focusing on their specific roles. And I was a bit, that's why I was asking, what is the specific contribution of women in these enterprises? I think it's really important that we realize that women have specific focus also in enterprises. They bring the more social aspect, the cohesion, the glue in the enterprises, and they bring also often local knowledge, history to their enterprises. They are the social cohesion in the communities, and so they bring specific aspects to the enterprise that can be useful. And I really liked also the intervention of Mr. Van about that women have this calculation abilities. I'm really I find this really interesting, and that you really have more trust. And in fact, in many cooperatives that we are working with, women are the treasurers. And so this is really something we have to appreciate. That's what the question was, really to appreciate and make evident what the roles can be of women in these businesses, and the leadership, the specific their specific roles. And I think also many of the examples today are coming also from enterprises where there is indigenous knowledge, and where that is very key. And that is looking at clean, organic, local history enterprises. I think these are really this will also, if you see the trends in enterprises, this is something that is more and more appreciated in the market, and we have to market this much better. I think as CBNEs, women-led CBNEs, there is a lot that we can do better to market the specific aspects that women bring to the enterprises, and that will attract customers even more. So I think the idea of creating a network between these IPLC entrepreneurs and to push a known agenda, I think this is something we all as supporters of these enterprises should think about. And because just by this little exchange, I already felt after, because women take, in general, women, it takes more time to come to come out for the feelings and saying what is really happening. So it takes a bit of time, but in the evolution of the discussion, much more is coming out, and then that's why we need to build up a network where we can do this exchange. And this is just my last word on this, but I think we as organizers, we should think of that, how we can support that. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. What I would say is, be the change. Like, it starts from you. Do whatever you can from your end, and rest will happen on its own. Like, it will happen eventually. Yeah, as long as you do your thing, then yeah, rest will follow. Thank you.
So I'd like to say thank you very much for the organizing of this sharing. And I would like to send one, I learned a lot from the speakers from other countries, and also I found the similarities of the female in CBNE participation. And my message is our female, be confident, because we can do everything, and we ever work very hard, and we are very patient to develop our families, our community to be more prosperous, and also more beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Emily.
Ang masasabi ko lang po ay huwag nating kalimutan na lahat tayo ay pantay-pantay. May sarili tayong kakayahan. Maging leader sa anong mga organisasyon. Matuto rin tayong makinig sa bawat isa. At huwag tayong mahiya na iparinig sa kanila kung ano ang gusto nating iparinig at mga opinion na gustong malaman ng ating mga kasamahan. Salamat po.
Thank you. So Miss Emily had said, let us not forget that we are all equals, that women also have their own capacities, that women should not be shy about asking others for information and for assistance, and not also to be shy about sharing what knowledge and capacities that women have. So very good messages from our women entrepreneurs. And now it is the sad time to say goodbye. We have run out of time, but certainly from this discussion, we have found out, and it's usually a good sign when it happens that at the end of a discussion, we have more questions than answers. But that is good because that means that we want to continue sharing. And I hope that right now, a dream of maybe having a network for women entrepreneurs becomes closer to reality with this kind of sharing. I hope everyone was able to capture important points raised in this roundtable discussion. And I also hope that our discussions do not end with this session. In behalf of the organizers of this discussion, thank you very much to our speakers, Miss Emily, Miss Emily, Miss Ma, Miss Avisha, Mr. Pham, Mr. Kobus, who we are grateful that they have agreed to participate as well. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to our audience, to our participants out there who have listened and hope will continue to engage in discussions. Have a good afternoon. And please don't forget to connect to the next meeting and future meetings of this forum. Have a good day, everyone. Maraming salamat po. Oh, can we have, I think the poll already flashed. So can we, oh no, it's done. But meanwhile, please don't go, turn on your videos and let's have a picture together, a commemorative picture. So put on your best smile and say CBNEs. While so there will be many shots, so smile each time and don't forget to smile, yeah. And so don't turn off your video right away because we will have several screens shots and we don't know where we are in those screens. Okay, please start taking the picture now and say CBNEs.
CBNE.
Yeah, so that makes you smile when you say it. So whoever is taking the picture, just let us know when we relax our smiling muscles a bit.
Okay, we are done. Thank you.
We're done. So again, thank you very much, everyone. And more power to our women entrepreneurs in CBNEs, in IPLCs. And please take the time before you leave or while waiting for the next session to answer our survey.
Shoot.